Have you ever held an old coin in your hand and wondered about its story? Imagine a small piece of metal that has traveled through time, passing from kings to merchants, and from parents to children. In Nepal, coins are not just money, they are tiny storybooks that tell us about our past. They reveal the names of powerful rulers, the gods people worshipped, and the way life was lived hundreds of years ago. These coins, especially the shiny silver ones, are a special part of Nepal's long and rich history. They connect us to a time when great kingdoms rose and fell in the beautiful valleys surrounded by mountains. This essay will take you on a journey through the history of Nepal's silver coinage. We will travel back to ancient times, long before silver coins were common, to see what people used for money. Then, we will discover the exciting moment when the very first silver coins were made in Nepal. We will learn about the kings who created them and how these coins changed the way people traded and lived. From the small, unique coins of the Malla kings to the widely used silver mohars of the Shah dynasty, each coin has a tale to tell. We will explore their beautiful designs and understand their value. Think of this as a treasure hunt through Nepal's past. Our map will be the coins themselves. We will look closely at their shapes, the symbols carved on them, and the metals they are made from. Each detail is a clue that helps us piece together the puzzle of our history. We will see how these small metal discs were not just used for buying goods, but also for important religious ceremonies, and as a way for kings to show their power. By the end, you will understand that the story of silver coins in Nepal is a fascinating adventure that continues to unfold even today. Our journey begins in the very distant past, even before the famous temples of Kathmandu were built. We will start by exploring the earliest forms of money found in Nepal, which were not always silver and sometimes weren't even round. These first coins were simple but important, laying the foundation for the beautiful silver money that would come later. So, get ready to dive into the world of numismatics, the study of coins, and uncover the secrets hidden in Nepal's pocketful of history. It is a story of art, power, trade, and tradition, all captured on small, precious pieces of metal that have survived for centuries. Long, long ago, even before the recorded history of many kingdoms, people in the lands that we now call Nepal needed a way to trade. Archaeologists, who are like detectives of the past, have dug up some very old and interesting objects that were used as money. The oldest of these are called punch-marked coins. These coins date back as far as the 5th or 6th century BCE. They were not perfectly round like the coins we use today. Instead, they were small, flat pieces of silver, or a mix of metals, and they had different symbols punched onto their surface, like little stamps. These punch-marked coins were very special because they were used across a large part of ancient India and made their way into the southern plains of Nepal. Each symbol, perhaps a sun, a tree, a fish, or a geometric shape, might have represented a different kingdom, a merchant's guild, or a specific value. Imagine a trader carrying a small bag of these oddly shaped coins to a market to buy grain or cloth. These coins were a sign of a growing society, where people were moving beyond simple bartering, which is trading goods directly for other goods. They were the first step toward a more organized economy. After the time of punch-marked coins, other types of coins began to appear in Nepal. These were brought by powerful empires from neighboring lands. For example, coins from the Kushan Empire, a mighty kingdom that ruled parts of Central Asia and northern India, have been found in Nepal. These coins often featured images of kings, like the famous ruler Kanishka, and different gods. Finding these Kushan or Kanishka coins tells us that ancient Nepal was connected to the world around it through trade routes that crossed mountains and plains. People were not isolated. They were part of a bigger network of exchange. These early coins show us that the idea of money was already present in Nepal for a very long time. However, it is important to remember that these coins were not made in Nepal. They were brought in from other places. They were foreign money that local people used because it was convenient and had a recognized value. The story of coins made right here in Nepal, with our own kings and symbols, would begin a little later. This early period was like the opening chapter, setting the stage for Nepal to create its very own unique coinage in the centuries to come. As we move forward in time, we arrive at the Licchavi dynasty, which ruled the Kathmandu Valley from about the 4th to the 9th century CE. This was a golden age for art and culture in Nepal. The Licchavi kings were great builders and patrons of the arts, and they also introduced Nepal's very first locally produced coins. However, these coins were not made of silver. Instead, the Licchavis used copper. These copper coins were a big step forward, because they were the first coins that were truly Nepalese, made by our own rulers for our own people to use in their daily lives. The Licchavi copper coins were known by names like Mananka, Gunanaka, and Vaishravana. The Mananka, introduced by King Manadeva, is considered the very first coin minted in Nepal. These coins were beautifully designed for their time. One side often showed a lion, a symbol of royalty and strength, with the king's name written in an ancient script. The other side might feature a seated goddess, perhaps representing prosperity and good fortune. These designs were not just for decoration. They were powerful messages from the king to his subjects, showing his authority and his devotion to the gods. During the Licchavi period, silver was a very rare and precious metal. While it was used for making jewelry and religious statues, it was not used for making coins. This might be because the economy was smaller, and copper coins were sufficient for most everyday transactions. People would use these copper coins to buy food, pay for services, or make small offerings at temples. Silver was likely saved for very large payments, or stored as a form of wealth by the royal family and rich merchants. So, for hundreds of years, the sound of money in Nepal was the clink of copper, not silver. This age of copper is a very important part of our story. It shows that Nepal had developed the skill and the system to produce its own money long before silver coins became common. The Licchavi kings established a tradition of minting coins with royal and religious symbols, a tradition that would continue for centuries. They laid the groundwork for the more complex monetary systems that would follow. The absence of silver coins during this prosperous era highlights just how significant it was when, many centuries later, silver finally made its grand debut on the coins of Nepal. For many centuries after the Licchavis, the story of coinage in Nepal becomes a bit blurry. Historical records are scarce, and it seems that coin production may have declined. But then, during the Malla period, everything changed. The Malla kings, who ruled different city-states in the Kathmandu Valley and surrounding areas, brought about a renaissance in art, architecture, and importantly, in coinage. It was during this vibrant era that the very first silver coins were minted in Nepal. This was a huge milestone marking a new level of economic prosperity and sophistication for the kingdom. The honor of striking the very first known silver coin in Nepal goes to a king you may not have heard of, Indra Singh Deva. He was not a ruler of the main Kathmandu Valley kingdoms, but of a smaller kingdom called Dolaka to the east. Around the year 1545, King Indra Singh Deva issued a small silver coin. This coin was tiny, weighing less than half a gram, but its importance was enormous. It was the first time a Nepalese ruler had used silver, a precious metal, to create money. This little coin from Dolaka was the pioneer, the trailblazer for all the Nepalese silver coins that would follow. Why was using silver so important? Silver was universally valued and was a key metal for international trade, especially with neighboring Tibet and India. By minting a silver coin, King Indra Singh Deva was making a powerful statement. He was showing that his kingdom, Dolaka, was wealthy enough to use precious metal for its currency. It was a sign of economic strength and ambition. This first silver coin, though small and rare, opened the door for other, more powerful kings to follow suit. It was like the first drop of rain that signals the coming of a monsoon. The coin of Indra Singh Deva was simple in its design, mostly featuring his name in script. It did not have the elaborate pictures that would appear on later coins, but its simplicity does not take away from its historical significance. It represents a turning point in Nepal's monetary history. Before this, wealth was stored in other forms, or foreign silver coins were used for large transactions. Now, for the first time, Nepal had its very own silver money. This new treasure would soon catch the eye of the powerful Malla kings of the Kathmandu Valley, who would take the idea and turn it into a grand tradition. While the first silver coin came from Dolakha, it was actually a Malla king of Kathmandu, who truly established silver coinage in Nepal. This king was Mahendra Malla, who ruled in the mid-16th century, not long after Indra Singh Deva. Mahendra Malla saw the potential of silver coins for boosting trade and, honestly, for showing the prestige of his kingdom. He made a historic deal with Tibet, where Nepal would mint high-quality silver coins for the Tibetans in exchange for the silver itself. This arrangement was, incredibly beneficial for Nepal and led to the creation of the first standard silver coin of the Kathmandu Valley. This new coin was called the Mahendra Mali. It was a silver rupee that set the standard for weight and purity for centuries to come. It weighed around 5.4 grams and was made of nearly pure silver. The Mahendra Mali was so well made and reliable that it became the primary currency not only in Nepal, but also in Tibet. Tibetan traders trusted these coins, and a massive amount of silver flowed into Nepal to be turned into currency. This trade made the Malla Kingdom of Kathmandu incredibly wealthy and funded the construction of many of the beautiful temples and palaces we see today. The design of Mahendra Malla's coins was also very distinct. Unlike coins that showed pictures of kings, Malla coins were filled with intricate geometric patterns, religious symbols, and inscriptions in Sanskrit. A central square often contained the king's name and the date, while the borders were decorated with symbols representing gods and goddesses, or auspicious signs like the 8-petaled lotus. This design style was partly because of religious beliefs that discouraged making images of the king, but it also created a unique artistic tradition that made Nepalese coins instantly recognizable. The success of the Mahendra Mali led other Malla kings, like Siddhi Narasimha Malla of Patan and Pratap Malla of Kathmandu, to issue their own beautiful silver coins. Each king tried to make his coins unique, with different patterns and symbols. Coins were given different names, often based on the king who issued them. The purity of the metal and the weight were carefully controlled, as this was crucial for maintaining trust in trade. The era of the Mallas was truly the golden age of silver coinage in Nepal, establishing a system that blended art, religion, and economics into one small, powerful object. In the mid-18th century, a new power rose in Nepal. Prithvi Narayan Shah, the king of the small hill state of Gorkha, embarked on a campaign to unify the country. After conquering the Kathmandu Valley in 1768 and 69, he established the Shah dynasty, which would rule Nepal for the next 240 years. The Shah kings understood the importance of a unified currency for a unified nation. They continued the Malla tradition of minting silver coins, but introduced their own system and designs. The most important silver coin of the Shah era was the mohar, which became the standard currency of the new kingdom of Nepal. The first Shah coins were heavily influenced by the Malla coins they replaced. They kept a similar weight and purity to ensure a smooth transition and maintain the trust of traders, especially those in Tibet. However, the designs began to change. While Malla coins were full of abstract patterns, Shah coins started to feature more explicit religious and royal symbols. Common motifs included the king's sword, or the Trishula, the footprints of a deity known as Vishnu Paduka, and various sacred knots and symbols. The inscriptions now included the name of the Shah king and the date in the Saka, or Bikram Sambat calendar. The silver mohar was the backbone of the Nepalese economy for a long time. It had a specific value. 1 mohar was equal to 2 suka or 4 dayak. There were also smaller silver coins, which were fractions of a mohar, used for smaller purchases. This created a complete monetary system, where people could conduct transactions of all sizes. For a farmer selling his produce in the market, or a craftsman selling his wares, the silver mohar and its smaller denominations were the primary means of exchange. The government also collected taxes and paid its soldiers and officials using these very coins. Over the years, the designs on the mohar evolved with each new king. The coins acted as a public announcement of a new ruler's ascension to the throne. When a new king came to power, new coins were minted with his name on them. This was a way of asserting his authority across the entire kingdom. The silver mohar was therefore more than just money. It was a political tool. It symbolized the unity of Nepal under the Shah kings, and carried the message of their power and devotion to every corner of the nation, from the high Himalayas to the southern plains. The early 20th century marked a particularly interesting phase for the silver mohar. During the period from around 1903 to 1932, Nepal's coinage system saw significant developments. Even as the world around it was changing rapidly, the coins minted during this time, under rulers like King Prithvi Birbikram Shah and King Tribhuvan Birbikram Shah, represent the final chapter of the classic silver mohar before a major currency reform. These coins were produced using more modern machinery, which resulted in more uniform and finely struck pieces compared to the earlier, hand-hammered coins. The value of the silver mohar during this time was stable and well understood. For a long time, the Nepalese currency system was based on 2 different metals. Silver coins, led by the mohar, were used in the hills and Kathmandu, while copper coins were more common in the Terai region. The exchange rate between them could fluctuate, creating some confusion. However, the silver mohar remained the premier coin of the kingdom. Its value was based on the actual amount of silver it contained, making it a reliable store of wealth for ordinary people. A family might save a few silver mohars for a daughter's wedding or to buy land. The designs of the mohars from this period, especially those between 1901 and 1925, continued the Shah dynasty traditions. They prominently featured the king's name, the date, and important symbols like the sword and sacred knots. The script used was the clear Devanagari script, which is the same script used for writing Nepali today. Holding one of these coins gives you a direct link to the Nepal of a century ago. It was a time of Rana rule, where the Shah king was a symbolic head, but the coins still bore his name, affirming his sovereignty in the eyes of the people and the world. The era of the classic silver mohar came to an end in 1932. In that year, Prime Minister Juda Shumsha Rana introduced a new currency system based on the Nepalese rupee. The new rupee was pegged to the Indian rupee, and new coins, including nickel and bronze ones, were introduced. The silver mohar was gradually phased out of circulation. This marked the beginning of modern Nepalese currency as we know it today. The silver coins that had served Nepal for nearly 400 years were replaced by a system no longer dependent on the value of the precious metal in the coins themselves. Throughout Nepal's history, silver coins were never just pieces of metal for buying and selling. They were deeply woven into the cultural and religious fabric of society. The designs on the coins were a reflection of what was most important to the people and their rulers: faith, power, and prosperity. The mala coins, with their yantras, mystical diagrams, and sacred symbols, were like miniature mandalas meant to bring blessings and protection. Every time a person used a coin, they were holding a piece of religious art that connected them to the divine world of gods and goddesses. The inscriptions on the coins are also a treasure trove of information. They tell us the names of kings, the year they ruled, and sometimes even the queen's name or a special title the king held. For historians, these coins are invaluable records, helping to confirm dates and timelines that might otherwise be lost. The language and script used, whether it was ancient Ranjana, Sanskrit, or modern Devanagari, show the evolution of literacy and official communication in Nepal. Each coin is a primary source document, a direct message from the past that has not been altered or rewritten. Silver coins also played a vital role in life's important rituals and traditions. Even today, in some ceremonies, coins are used as symbolic offerings to deities during pujas. In weddings, giving gifts of money or dakshina is a long-standing tradition, and in the past, shiny silver mohars would have been a prized gift. Coins were also used in rituals for newborns and in funeral rites. This practice shows that coins were seen as pure and auspicious objects, suitable for marking the most significant moments of a person's life, from birth to death. They carried a social and spiritual weight that went far beyond their monetary value. Economically, the silver coinage was the engine of trade that fueled the prosperity of kingdoms like the Mallas. The ability to mint high-quality silver coins allowed Nepal to become a crucial link in the trans-Himalayan trade route between India and Tibet. This trade brought not only wealth but also cultural exchange, as ideas, art styles and technologies flowed along with the caravans of merchants. The silver coins of Nepal were a testament to the kingdom's craftsmanship and its strategic importance in the region. They were a symbol of national pride and economic independence. The story of silver coins in Nepal is a long and winding river, not a straight canal with a clear starting point. When we look at coins from the early 20th century, like those minted between 1901 and 1925, it is tempting to see them as just old money. But they are much more than that. They are the descendants of a very long line of coinage, a tradition that stretches back centuries. The silver mohar of 1925 carries the echoes of the very first Malla silver rupees and even the ancient punch-marked coins that first taught Nepal the language of money. There is no single, clean start date for silver coinage in Nepal because its history is one of evolution. It began with the use of foreign silver coins, followed by the first tentative minting in Dholaka, and then blossomed into a sophisticated system under the Mallas. The Shahs inherited and adapted this system, modernizing it over time. So, the coins from the final years of the Mohar era are not an isolated phenomenon. They are part of a continuous narrative of how Nepalese rulers used precious metal to unify their land, project their power, and fuel their economy. Understanding this long history helps us appreciate the coins we find from our grandparents' or great-grandparents' time. A silver mohar from the 1920s is a link in a chain that connects modern Nepal to its medieval and ancient past. Its weight standard was set by Mahendra Malla 400 years earlier. Its use of royal and religious symbols was a tradition started by the Lichavis over 1,000 years ago. The very idea of using silver for high-value trade came from the ancient merchants who first brought punch-marked coins into the Himalayan foothills. Today, as we use our modern Nepalese rupee notes and coins, we are continuing a story that began thousands of years ago. The silver coins of the past may no longer be in our pockets, but they remain a vital part of our heritage. They are preserved in museums and private collections, studied by historians, and cherished by those who find them. They remind us that our history is rich, complex, and filled with fascinating tales of kings, trade, art, and faith, all captured on small, shining discs of silver that have stood the test of time.